Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel World of Wrestling here today to discuss about Monday Night Raw, February 1st, 2021 review. This Raw was, I guess, okay. Definitely better than what they did at the Go Home show from last week. Most definitely. I think anything was better than that piece of shit. And the last couple of Raw episodes for the last few weeks. There's actually word going around by Dave Meltzer that the planned match at WrestleMania 37 is Edge versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championships. That is the supposed penciled in plans by WWE. I personally hate things like that being spoiled so far in advance. Kind of sucks. But I can imagine them choosing Roman Reigns over Drew McIntyre, because unless Drew McIntyre is losing the title to Edge and then Edge losing it the same night to the briefcase winner, which I was supposedly saying, and I still say they should do this, is have Sheamus become the new briefcase holder and cash in on Edge at WrestleMania after he won the championship. Unfortunately, that is not going to happen at all. Clearly, you can see that that would have been the right direction, in my opinion, for a surprise win by Sheamus, taking away the victory of Edge, building a new heel on Raw, and Sheamus being that new heel, and turning him into like the way Roman Reigns is on SmackDown. Not as good as Roman Reigns, but in good quality. Personally, I kind of find this opener to the show to be kind of awkward. They start off with Drew McIntyre showing up in the middle of the ring, discussing about his win over Goldberg, how happy he was to get the win and also get the respect of Goldberg in that matchup. Other things that was mentioned during this promo is Drew acknowledged Edge's win at the Royal Rumble. He states that Edge winning the Royal Rumble was a huge accomplishment for him, and he would be proud to defend the championship against Edge at WrestleMania if that is what he chooses to do. He does mention that, of course, Edge does have the choice of shipping over to SmackDown, so they're hinting that right in the middle of the promo before I ever found out about the news on Dave Meltzer. And it was awkward because then Sheamus showed up right after Edge, and Edge said something really off the walls. He says, yeah, you and I were good friends, and we still are, and yet you're sitting here, and I'm saying to myself, what is he doing? He's the world champion, and he's expecting him to be like the opportunist in this situation, in kicking Edge's head clean off his shoulders. I personally don't understand why he would want to do such a horrible thing like that. I mean, Edge is just competing to become the world heavyweight champion. Drew McIntyre is a fighting champion. Should be, a classy competition I see that Edge should be having against another opponent. And that's not the way they're going with it. They're going the traditional way of doing things with a heel versus face. And I think that's great and all for Roman Reigns, but if they go in the route of Edge, it's going to leave people very pissed off that they would take the title off of Roman Reigns to put on Edge when Edge is 47 years old. I think that is a really stupid decision. And it also leaves the match to be very, what would you say? It would be very predictable, honestly, if they go with Roman Reigns versus Edge. It really is kind of a stupid decision. At least with Drew McIntyre and Edge, you have a possibility of Edge winning the championship, because Drew McIntyre is a guy that can, I don't know if he could eat a loss, but with him losing to to Edge beating Drew McIntyre, I think people would be a little bit more lenient towards it, because Drew McIntyre is a good guy, while Roman Reigns has been built up into this mega bad guy. People want to see a new, fresh face actually win the title, not a 47-year-old. So I think that's where the problem lies with that. But anyway, right after the fact that Edge mentions this, Sheamus shows up, and he's talking up for Drew McIntyre at first, and this led from one thing to another. Like I said, Edge says that he's going to be looking at both champions and make his decision when he's good and ready. And then all of a sudden, Sheamus attacks him with a brogue kick, attacks Drew McIntyre with a brogue kick out of nowhere, and that's how the show kickstarts off. Very odd way of setting this up, and they just have Sheamus later on asked by Charlie, why did he do that? And he says, I'm fed up. I'm fed up of being this guy's so-called friend, yet I don't have any title. I have nothing going for me, and I want that world title. I don't blame him for that, but honestly, I don't see Sheamus winning this matchup whenever they decide to have this. Personally, I think this match should be saved for WrestleMania. My reasoning behind that is because, real simple, they're both friends in real life, and what better way of producing a match like this at WrestleMania over a championship? I think this would be fantastic. I hope they go that route. I doubt it, though. I'm pretty certain they're going to have this match either at Fastlane in March, or they're going to have it this month for the Elimination Chamber. Maybe they have a singles match, what have you. It all depends on what they decide to do. So I'm pretty certain we're going to have a decision by Friday night on SmackDown, which has already been announced that Edge is going to be showing up there. So the first match on the card was the WWE US Championship with Riddle versus Bobby Lashley. This match went less than 5 minutes. The referee counted to 5 with Lashley putting the Hurt Lock on Riddle, and Riddle was touching the ropes. He was actually on the outside with his leg wrapped around the rope so he would get a rope break, and he refused to let go. After the bell, Lashley dumps Riddle to the floor and follows him. Lashley applies the Hurt Lock once again, and MVP tries to get him to break the hold as the referee keeps ringing the bell. Lashley finally dumps Riddle back on the floor as the boos get louder from the Thunderdome. MVP asks Lashley what is he doing. Lashley is seething. Fans chant "You suck" from the Thunderdome piped in audio, and Lashley grabs Riddle again and applies a submission as MVP tries to reason with him. Lashley tightens the hold and then tosses Riddle over the barrier. Lashley makes his exit as the music starts back up, and MVP follows him with a smile on his face. He also happens to mention after the match is over, while he's trying to apply the submission hold, he says, dude, we're not here to kill the guy. We're just here to beat him up and beat him and retain the title. We're not here to kill him. But after Lashley's walking away and his back is turned, MVP's smiling and proud of what he did. So in retrospect, he was kind of psyching him out, I guess, or trying to get trying to calm him down, I guess, but at the same time hoping he wouldn't listen to him in a way. I have no idea, but it was kind of awkward. But Lashley is turning into a raving lunatic at this point. We could see something very interesting at the Royal Rumble. I'm not sure. Damian Priest, by the way, I do want to mention he was actually at the show. He was pretty impressive against The Miz, which I'll get into later. I gotta say, I think Damian Priest definitely needs a jetpack strapped to his back and pushed heavily. I think maybe even giving him the briefcase would be a good idea at this point. Because Priest is coming across the same as he did in NXT so far. So far he is. I mean, Matt Riddle was pretty much the same as he was from NXT when he moved over to SmackDown instantly. And lo and behold, as time went on, they deteriorated everything and tore everything away from him. Turned him into just a goofy RVD version of Matt Riddle. And I think it's fucking ridiculous. So, whatever. So we see how Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax won the women's tag team titles from Charlotte Flair and Asuka at the Royal Rumble kickoff pre-show with the interference from Lacey Evans and Hall of Famer Ric Flair. That whole thing with Charlotte Flair and Lacey Evans was completely idiotic. I thought that was fucking stupid. Randy Orton is backstage. He gives a promo to Edge because he didn't think a ring return was possible. So he cuts a promo on Edge. He didn't think that Edge would actually be able to come back. But not only did he return, he entered the Royal Rumble at number 1 and won the whole damn thing. Orton congratulates Edge and says he really means it. Orton says he has a problem now because he told the whole world Edge wasn't coming back, and now Edge has made him look like a huge liar. He goes on with the mention that he did it for him and his family, for them to be able to be together and get Edge away from the ring so he'd be able to spend more time with his family and so on and so forth, which is a bunch of bullshit. And he says, hey, Edge, you think you're going to WrestleMania 37, but here's a little secret. He's not. Orton goes on and says, tonight there will be no mercy or compassion for Edge and no WrestleMania main event for him. And Tom confirms that Edge versus Orton was for tonight's main event. I didn't particularly know this match was going to happen. This was kind of out of the blue, which again, they should have advertised the match with Randy Orton and Edge right out of the get-go. I mean, fucking WWE Network sent a notification to my phone notifying me that there was going to be 2 title matches, but never mentioning anything about Orton and Edge competing in the main event of Monday Night Raw, which, by the way, guys, was a pretty damn good match. It wasn't that bad. So that's pretty much that with that segment. Very well done by Orton. I have no complaints from him on that. He usually cuts good promos. We then have Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston are backstage. Woods is glad Kofi is back. He says Retribution is up 2-1, but he's about to go take care of that. Kofi starts talking about how Mustafa Ali has lost his mind, but tonight isn't about Kofi, it's about Woods getting his payback. Kofi goes on about having Woods back, and they do their New Day Rocks chant. That's how that all started out. Xavier Woods versus Mustafa Ali. Didn't particularly care for this match all that much, but Xavier Woods did pick up a victory to tie the series 2-2. I will mention this. I think that Mustafa Ali versus Kofi Kingston is a great matchup, especially for WrestleMania. I think this would be a great spot for the mid-card portion of the WrestleMania pay-per-view, either night 1 or night 2. Either one would be fine. Not on any pre-show. I think this deserves a really strong storyline built around the fact of what happened a couple of years ago. And give it some kind of actual importance. Because right now, it just seems like Mustafa Ali is touching on a bunch of people that are not getting pushed, or people that he's trying to get revenge on. The only person hasn't gotten revenge on was Randy Orton himself, who broke his fucking jaw. So that is kind of off the walls weird. And JD from New York 206 mentioned that for the Royal Rumble review. Mentioned that Mustafa Ali never went after Randy Orton in the middle of that match, which I didn't really touch on. I kind of didn't touch on a lot of the small details that happened during each Royal Rumble match, because I have a limited amount of time to be able to cover all that on my camera. My camera has short memory, so I don't have so much time to be able to produce, but maybe 20 to 40 minutes worth of recording. But yeah, he should have went after Randy Orton during that match, and he didn't. So that was kind of weird. Bad Bunny, he's actually backstage with Damian Priest. They're having a little bit of a kind of like a friendship being built here. I don't know if they're really truly friends in real life, or they're just playing a role here on television. But yeah. Miz and Morrison are in the ring with their mics to do Miz TV. Bad Bunny comes out. They ask him all kinds of different shit, like, is his dream becoming a wrestler truly something he wanted to do growing up? And he said, yeah. He says, well, guess what? If you go ahead and can get us a role as musicians, we can get you a job doing something in WWE as an in-ring performer and so forth, and blah, 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 blah. And Bad Bunny says, nah, I don't have no interest in this. I have interest in, it's a dream to be a wrestler, an in-ring performer, but I have no dream of doing that with you guys. I don't need to have you do anything for me, and so on. So nothing came about this except leading to Damian Priest coming out. I will say this, his entrance was not tampered with. His music was the same. His bow and arrow entrance was the same. It remained the same. Nothing changed on that, thankfully. But that's just one night. Let's give it some time, see how things develop in the next couple of weeks. If we don't see any change from his entrances, we're safe. The only thing else more we have to worry about is what they're doing with him creative. Do they have any major plans for this guy? They got 3 months worth of time to build him up for something worthy enough for WrestleMania. I think they can definitely do that with no problem. I don't see why they don't take the freaking briefcase off of The Miz and put it on Damian Priest. I think Damian Priest winning the WWE Championship would be fucking fantastic. Some of you may say, hey, it's a little too soon for him, but I mean, let's get real, guys. We ain't got any fucking real young studs walking around. I mean, Damian Priest ain't super young or anything. I mean, he's in his, say, late 30s, early 40s, but he's a new face. He's not a guy that's been pushed in a major promotion to do anything special. So, personally, I kind of think going with Damian Priest might be a nice risk take that they could go with and see how things develop there. But, I mean, they got to do something. I mean, anything, showing us that they have some kind of interest in pushing new faces in the main event of their shows. Because, quite frankly, it's been the same shit over and over again. Matches that are extremely predictable because the opponents that Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns are facing are not notable competitors that could take the title off of their opponent, being Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns. The only person that I would have been okay with taking the title off of Roman Reigns at this point would have been Kevin Owens. But that's only if he would have won the Royal Rumble and faced Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. Him beating Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble would have not worked for me. Not that I would have been upset about it heavily, but I think it would have damaged Roman Reigns creatively. Kind of taking away that heelish type run that he's been on for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe even 6 months so far. So yeah, I wouldn't have want that cut short. So Damian Priest actually gets a match with The Miz. The Miz ends up losing this match. Damian Priest performed very well in this match. Miz, he did have some offense here. I think maybe Damian Priest having a huge advantage over The Miz would have been a better idea and ending this match extremely quick. But then again, he is the briefcase winner, so you might as well give us something noteworthy for The Miz as a briefcase holder, because him getting just beaten to death and then losing in less than 5 minutes wouldn't really work out very well. But him losing all the time isn't exactly helping him in any way, shape, or form either. So there you go. After the match was over, the music hits as Priest and Bad Bunny celebrate on the ramp. Small thing I forgot to mention. Bad Bunny was he was trying to get the briefcase, which he did, and John Morrison came over and grabbed the briefcase from Bad Bunny, and then Bad Bunny whipped out his own personal microphone and whacked John Morrison right in the fucking head. I don't know what the fuck that was, but that was pretty fucking crazy. But whatever. It's not that big of a deal. So, Tom shows us what happened last week on Alexa's Playground as Alexa Bliss laughed about burning Randy Orton's face a few weeks back. We also see how Bliss challenged Raw Women's Champion Asuka last week and did her transformations during the match. Bliss was about to put Asuka away, but Orton hit the ring and dropped her with an RKO. And then still to come, they discuss about Bliss versus her former friend and tag team partner, Nikki Cross, which, by the way, was kind of a good match. I thought it was okay. I liked the transformations, not as much transformations in the match that they had compared to what Alexa Bliss has done in the last couple of weeks. But not bad. I wasn't really highly disappointed with the match. I thought it was okay, and I actually enjoyed the little finish they did, which I'll get into that in just a few moments. The Raw Tag Team titles was on the line. Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin win this match with Lucha House Party losing to them. Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin may have won the match, but they don't look like winners because they are constantly bickering and arguing with each other and still retaining their titles at the end of the day. Eventually, this is going to hurt them badly. They are going to lose. This is definitely going to lead to the Hurt Business splitting up, I truly think. So, there you go. The next thing on the card was a number one contenders triple threat females tag team matchup with Charlotte Flair and Asuka versus Lana and Naomi versus Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. Folks, this match absolutely sucked balls. Big time. The ending was absolutely terrible. You had Ric Flair showing up once again doing the same fucking thing with Lana. And then we have Charlotte Flair tagging Asuka and leave her partner stranded by herself while she goes to attend the Ric Flair-Lana distraction and try to beat them up. When in the beginning of this matchup, backstage, there was an interview where Asuka asked her to keep her head in the game so that they could win back those tag team titles. And Charlotte Flair apologized. She said she's right. I shouldn't have, turned my focus to something else. I should have kept my focus on this matchup. And unfortunately, I did not do that. I messed up. I am not going to do that again as long as we're tag team partners. In which case, she didn't do that. She tagged Asuka in, left her stranded by herself, and that was the end. She lost. Asuka lost to Lana by pinfall. Or no, Naomi won by pinfall. She hit the rear view for a pin and earned the future title shot against Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. That's fucking pathetic. You got your Raw Women's Champion eating a loss. Are you fucking kidding me, man? I mean, you couldn't choose somebody else. You couldn't choose maybe Asuka going ahead and trying to get Charlotte Flair's attention back to the match, and they're not actually the legal people in this matchup. Neither one of them are actually legal in the match, but Charlotte's distracted by Lacey Evans and Ric Flair. We couldn't get that and just have them off in the distance up the ramp while, Lana and Naomi are competing against Mandy Rose and fucking Dana Brooke. We had to have Asuka lose here. This is fucking pathetic. I absolutely hate this with a fucking passion. I don't understand what the hell they're doing, but this is leading to the worst idea they possibly could go with, and I know where they're going. It's going to be Charlotte Flair versus Asuka. Asuka's going to eventually get fucking fed up of this shit with her doing that kind of crap to her, and she's going to say, look, I'm sick and tired of this, and she's going to turn heel. Asuka's going to turn heel. We're going to get that sympathy factor in there on Charlotte Flair, which nobody gives a flying fuck about Charlotte Flair. We're all sick of her being in the world title picture. This is what I am afraid of. Asuka is going to get another fucking loss to Charlotte Flair. And I hope that does not happen. If this match does get booked, I hope it's booked for Asuka to win. Because seeing Asuka lose to fucking Charlotte Flair for a third time would be nauseating. And I don't want to see that. I want to see a really good match. Not a freaking joke show where Charlotte Flair gets her 10 millionth title reign as a singles competitor in the women's division. I'm fed up of it. It is annoying. Moving on. Because I'm running out of time on my camera here. Back from the break, and WWE Champion Drew McIntyre is backstage with Charlie Caruso. She brings up about Sheamus' heel turn and the earlier promo with WWE Hall of Famer Edge. Charlie says Sheamus hasn't given an explanation for the attack, but she wants to know how Drew feels. Drew first says it would be an honor to face Edge at WrestleMania 37. Regarding Sheamus, he says family fight all the time, and they've fought before, but this is different. He doesn't know what to say, and then he retracts that and says, yes, he does. Drew says if Sheamus is willing to throw away their 20-year friendship, the ups and downs over the WWE title, then so be it. Drew says if Sheamus wants the match, he's got it. And that's it. No explanation of when this match is going to occur, or if it's going to happen on Raw, if it's going to happen on pay-per-view. We don't know yet. So we have to tune in for next week to see where this thing goes. Carlito and Jeff Hardy versus Elias and Jackson Riker. Carlito and Jeff Hardy win this match. Carlito hits a backstabber with a combination with Jeff Hardy after Carlito tags in Jeff Hardy with a Swanton Bomb and the 1-2-3. I believe that was done on Elias. No, it was done on Riker. Excuse me. Oh, no, wait. Hardy goes to the top rope, hits the Swanton Bomb on Elias for the win. Yeah, so it was Elias who ate the pinfall on the loss. And that's all there is to it. Backstage, we had a video package on Edge's return and the Royal Rumble win and the feud with Randy Orton. Edge is backstage for a promo, and Edge says no matter what, he's always had this black cloud over him, and that's Orton. He goes on about Orton and their history and moving on. Edge says he has to put Orton in his rearview mirror tonight so that he can march into WrestleMania 37, take back what he never lost. Edge says he gets closure tonight for himself and for his little girls over why he couldn't carry them to bed or play soccer with them. Edge hyped up and says, "This is the end tonight." Very good promo by Edge. I was very impressed with that. I was very satisfied with that, by the way. Edge and Orton are always cutting good promos because they're not being given stupid scripts to say what they're supposed to say on the mic or in front of the camera. They're just speaking their minds. They're telling it like how they feel based on the direction the storyline's supposed to go. And they do an outstanding job. And why they don't do that with the other performers is beyond me. I have no fucking idea. Alexa Bliss versus Nikki Cross. Alexa Bliss wins this match with a little bit of a twist to the Sister Abigail move. She put her in the typical Sister Abigail move, but then goes ahead and pulls her upwards and hits a rollover DDT type of move. So it's like a cross between a Sister Abigail and a fucking and a DDT, tornado DDT type of maneuver. Very, very vicious move there. Alexa Bliss wins this match over Nikki Cross. Match was kind of good. Like I said earlier, it wasn't that bad. Though I will have to say what Nikki Cross was doing made no sense, saying, "Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? We were friends, blah, blah, blah." Bitch, you and your friend stopped being friends a while ago, and you disappeared, and now you're back again doing the same fucking storyline again that you guys supposedly finished, I thought. But I was wrong, apparently. I guess they have nothing else better for Alexa Bliss to do while the Fiend's off jerking off in the corner with a flame in his hand. I have no idea. But, fucking stupid shit. Bliss celebrates, jumps out of the ring, goes up to the ramp, and has Randy Orton pass right by her with his music. They don't even stare at each other, like they didn't even acknowledge each other's existence. So we get Edge versus Orton. This matchup, this main event, was a good one. I didn't really have a problem with this match. It wasn't like their Backlash match, which was a really good match. Not the greatest match ever. Fuck no. No way in hell. But this was a good match. It was a fun main event. Granted, these guys are two old dudes that need to retire at some point. More Edge than Orton at this point. Orton is in his early 40s. He's got a few more years to go where he's kind of crossing the line between in-ring performer to being overplayed performer, I guess you could say. But yeah, I mean, this wasn't a bad match, and the end of it really looked like Orton was going to win, but we had Alexa Bliss pop her rear ugly head while she's sitting on the corner of the ring with black blood oozing out of her mouth and looking downright fucking evil as hell. Not that it was all that scary or anything, but She just had black blood dripping out of her mouth, which was outrageous. And Edge took advantage of this from the distraction and levels Orton with a spear and gets to 1, 2, 3 and ends the match and walks away. And that's how the show goes off the air. A little bit of a lackluster ending, I think, in my opinion. I think they could have maybe done something a little bit better, maybe stretched it out a little bit further, maybe do something with showing an emotion of Orton being pissed off about what happened. If they maybe would have done this match, ended this match a little bit earlier, giving maybe a 5 extra minutes where Orton gets on the microphone, shows his displeasure of what happened during the match and being pissed off and saying, I want the Fiend, I'm tired of this crap, I want this to be over with, let's get this done and finish this for good. Because at this point, Orton looks like he's going to be facing the Fiend at WrestleMania. That's where I see this going to. I don't see any other way to do this but have Orton versus the Fiend at WrestleMania. And I personally don't want to see that. I think that match will be terrible unless it's in an actual cinematic type of match, which could possibly happen. I mean, they did it last year with John Cena and Bray Wyatt. Why wouldn't they do it this year? But yeah, that was pretty much the show. It was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't exactly anything near what we saw at the Royal Rumble from last night, but it was a decent show, especially in what we've come to expect of WWE Raw. So kudos to them for at least producing somewhat of a good show, but not the greatest show in the world. I figure they could do better than that. But anyway, guys, at this time, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below, and I'll definitely get back to you on that. And I thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you have a great night. Bye.